Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
And as we continue with the new year here in the month of January, we're going to go way back in time, 65 million years ago to be exact, or even more than that.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the animals that lived on the earth at that time, the dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs are pretty popular, not just among kids growing up, but I think adults have really supported some of the movies that we've had with dinosaurs, like Jurassic Park. I saw the first Jurassic Park, but I don't think I've seen any others since then. I know they had sequels coming out, but are you a fan of dinosaurs, Tom?
Yes and no. You know, they can be interesting. Yes, I did see the first Jurassic Park movie when it first came out back in, 93 or so?
Yeah.
And I saw the second one at a theater in Gongguan, but there were people making noise with plastic bags and stuff, so didn't really get to enjoy it. But in any case, dinosaurs are interesting to a lot of people. I know a lot of kids like dinosaurs. My daughter likes dinosaurs. I think her favorite one was the Parasaurolophus or something like that. I hope I said that right. It's the one that's got the big horn on its head.
Yeah.
Or the big empty head or whatever.
That's fun.
It is kind of cute, but yeah, we've seen dinosaur fossils in the ground, and scientists, well, they can make some guesses about how dinosaurs behaved, and we can also talk about some of the species of dinosaurs. So let's get to it, everybody. Let's find out about these prehistoric animals in today's lesson, When Dinosaurs Walked the Earth. What exactly is a dinosaur? These prehistoric animals have fascinated humans since we found the first fossils, and paleontologists learn more with every new discovery. While it's tempting to label all fearsome ancient monsters as dinosaurs, these animals were defined by their own special characteristics. Dinosaurs were creatures of the Mesozoic era, which occurred between 245 million and 66 million years ago. Different species of dinosaurs lived during the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods, with mass extinction events dramatically changing life on the planet between each period. Dinosaurs were almost exclusively land-dwelling. Though you might mistake some prehistoric marine or airborne creatures for dinosaurs, these were actually reptiles. Nearly all dinosaurs lived their entire lives on land, though some were also good swimmers. Dinosaurs were distinguished by their hips. We separate dinosaurs into two groups: lizard-hipped Saurischia and bird-hipped Ornithischia. Ironically, today's birds descend from lizard-hipped dinosaurs. Dinosaurs were not all huge. Though enormous sauropods and the massive jaws of Tyrannosaurus rex are iconic to dinosaur lovers, there were many species smaller than humans. Some dinosaurs only grew to around the size of a turkey. Dinosaurs were not slow and stupid. Popular culture shows dinosaurs as clumsy beasts with only basic brain functions. However, research has indicated that many dinosaurs actually had high levels of intelligence and social behavior.
Okay, guys, let's take a look at the title first. That first word, prehistoric, what does that mean? Prehistory. Well, a long, long time ago, when we try to study history, we usually look at the records left behind from the people before. But if we're looking at prehistoric days or times, there's really nothing written down that we can find. So this word, prehistoric, is an adjective, and it just is a word we use as an adjective to describe the period of history before any written records at all.
Exactly. So that's going way back in time. I guess it could include early humans who did not possess the ability to write. But if you see something that mentions prehistory or something being prehistoric, you're talking about a really, really long time ago. So, yes, these animals were prehistoric and they were also powerful. And yes, we're talking about the dinosaurs. And when dinosaurs walked the earth, when they existed on the earth, they are extinct now, but they did exist according to fossil records. Now, here we're going to begin with a question. What exactly is a dinosaur? Or I guess you could actually more correctly say, what exactly was a dinosaur, because they no longer exist.
That's true. If you want to see a dinosaur these days, you're just going to be able to either look at a book, watch a movie, or maybe go and see some of their bones that scientists have put together and kind of given us an idea of what they might have looked like long ago. So these prehistoric animals have fascinated humans since we found the first fossils. So if you're fascinated or something is fascinating to you, just means you're really interested in something. So again, this is one of those tricky adjective guys where you need to get the form of it right. You need to say, wow, that's so fascinating, or I'm fascinated by something, or I'm fascinated with something. Typically, you don't call yourself fascinating. Oh, I'm so fascinating. So be careful with that one. They are cool, and there's a lot to learn about them. I think the thing that always interested me as a kid, though, was how big they were. That was just amazing, especially as a little person who was quite short. You'd go to the museum and those bones were really, really tall, that they'd put together. So that's what fascinated me.
Indeed, and of course, as a kid, sometimes I would try to imagine, gee, what would it be like if a Tyrannosaurus Rex were walking through my hometown there and knocking down the local department stores or whatever, or chasing after people, just like they do in the old Japanese Godzilla movies, it would have been very similar. But yeah, what exactly were the dinosaurs? Well, again, they have fascinated humans for a long time, at least since the time we found the first fossils. A fossil, of course, is something that you find in rocks. They'll be, of course, underground, and you'll dig them up, and they will be the impression or the remnants, the leftover things of ancient creatures. It could be both animals and plants that lived a really long time ago, millions of years ago. And the people who study fossils are called paleontologists, okay? And the branch of science that specializes in studying fossils, that is called paleontology.
That's right. So while it's tempting to label or call all fearsome ancient monsters as dinosaurs, and we kind of do that, don't we? Some of the, like Godzilla, which is, that fake dinosaur, we call him a monster. It's tempting to call these fearsome ancient monsters dinosaurs. These animals were defined by their own special characteristics. They all were quite different. I know that a long time ago I recorded a book about dinosaurs, and there were several types of dinosaurs that were quite kind. They ate plants. They didn't hurt anybody. They didn't kill. And they seem kind of nice. So all these dinosaurs aren't exactly the same. They all have their own special characteristics. A characteristic is something like a feature or a quality that belongs to a person or a place or a thing. And you can use these characteristics to describe something or try to tell somebody what something's like. You can talk about their characteristics. Could be personality. Tom has a very fun sense of humor. That's one of his characteristics. A physical characteristic is Tom is very tall. So those are characteristics that I can use to describe him to someone else who hasn't met him before.
Okay, and you could also use this to describe maybe languages or whatever, like the German language. You could describe its characteristics. All the nouns are capitalized. It has many verb tenses, and its grammar is quite complicated, and it's spoken in Germany. Those are some characteristics of the German language. But let's talk about some of the characteristics of dinosaurs. First of all, we're going to talk about what dinosaurs were, okay? Dinosaurs were creatures of the Mesozoic era. Okay, what is that? You probably have a Chinese term for that, but we'll tell you this particular period of ancient history occurred between 245 million and 66 million years ago. That is a long period of time. I know Chinese people are proud of the fact that their country is like 5,000 years old, but that is nothing compared to this span of time here. We're talking about millions of years here, 245 and 66 million years ago. Hey, that's when the dinosaurs lived, and they changed during that time.
Yeah, we've got different species of dinosaurs who lived during different periods, like Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods. So when you talk about a species, you're talking about a group of living organisms. It could be people, it could be plants, it could be animals. And typically, if they're of the same species and they're animals or people, they can mate and have baby animals or baby people. They exchange genes and they can breed together. So we've got different species of dinosaurs who lived at different times or different time periods. Everyone's heard of Jurassic, right? Because of the movies. But we've got Triassic and Cretaceous periods as well.
Yeah, the earliest one was Triassic, the middle one was Jurassic, and the final period of the Mesozoic era was the Cretaceous period. And, of course, there were mass extinction events dramatically happening between each of these periods, and they changed life accordingly. So if you talk about extinction, you're talking about when an animal does not exist anymore, okay? Because of human encroachment into forests and things like that, lots of animals are now extinct, or they are going extinct. They're still here, but they have small numbers.
Sometimes it's not people who cause these animals or plants to go extinct. Sometimes maybe the animal just isn't very smart, like the dodo bird. I remember growing up, it was so stupid that it just didn't survive. The other animals were able to kill it. So, yeah, sometimes, you know, the fittest and the hardiest of animals are only the ones that survive over time. We're going to talk more about this and what dinosaurs were, guys. But first, we're going to listen to our Chinese teacher.
听众朋友大家好，我是安娜。喜欢恐龙的恐龙迷有福咯，因为今明2天我们都会带大家来看看恐龙。不过啊，说真的，恐龙到底是什么东西呢？因为其实从人类发现第一批化石 fossil 以来，这些史前动物啊，其实就蛮令人着迷的。史前动物那个史前叫做 prehistoric， 而令人着迷就是 fascinate someone。 当然，古生物学家每一次发现新的恐龙当中，都会学到一些东西。那么，我们接下来看一下第一段这个第二句。如果在句首看到 while 这个字，会有2个意思。第一个意思表示时间是 when， 另外一个呢，则表示 although。那么你就要从整句话当中的文意去判断一下。那么在这句话当中，我们看到的是 while it's tempting to label blah 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 as。如果是 when 的意思，那么上下文可能不太通顺。可是我们看到后面的这些动物却是由独特的特征所来定义的，所以在这里的 while 应该是 although 的意思比较通顺。不过我们刚刚说这个 it 呀，是一个虚主词，真主词是从后面的 to label 一直到逗点的地方。那么 label A as B 是把 A标成 B， 也就是认为 A 是 B 的意思。最后面可能要注意一下哦，特征、特色 characteristic。 好，所以我们要定义一下恐龙。恐龙到底是什么呢？恐龙第一点，它其实是中生代的生物 creature， 那么所谓的中生代，在这句话当中，逗点之后的 which 到结尾是用来补充前面这个中生代到底是什么意思。那么中生代它这个时期 occurred 其实发生在2.45亿到6600万年前，包括像是三叠纪、侏罗纪、白亚纪的时期当中呢，都还有不同的恐龙在生活着。那么我们说生物的物种会用某一个单字叫做 species S-P-E-C-I-E-S， 要注意这个字单复数同形哦。可是在这一点当中，第二句后面有一个 with表示的是附带状况，但是它是介系词的关系，所以影响到后面剧烈改变这个动词会用动词 ing 叫做 changing。而我们都知道有恐龙大灭绝啊，那气候的改变啦，或者是有其他原因，总而言之呢，产生的大灭绝事件 mass extinction events。 剧烈改变这个副词要特别注意，通常会用 dramatically changes dramatically changing。 好，所以在这里呢，我们要特别注意 with 后面影响到动词的改变变成 changing。We're
going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, let's continue to talk about dinosaurs. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about what dinosaurs were and what they weren't, or what they were not. So where we left off, we were talking about what dinosaurs were. We did mention that they are creatures of the Mesozoic era, and there were numerous mass extinction events that happened between each of those particular periods. Okay, now here's something else that dinosaurs were. They were almost exclusively land-dwelling. Okay, if something's land-dwelling, it lives on the land. It's not like a fish that lives in the water. An elephant, for example, is a land-dwelling animal.
Sure is. Now, a lot of the dinosaurs back there did indeed live on the land only. Exclusively means only that particular place. Though you might mistake some prehistoric marine or airborne creatures for dinosaurs, these were actually reptiles. I always thought that dinosaurs were reptiles. So if you say something's prehistoric marine, any sort of marine animal, even used today, guys, just means it lives in the sea, it lives in the water. Airborne means some sort of creature that flies. We also use airborne to talk about diseases that you can catch from other people. For example, there might be some sort of virus that's airborne. Maybe someone sneezes and they're not wearing a mask. Whatever they're sneezing goes airborne. So that just means floating in the air. So some of these creatures were creatures that would be in the air. These were actually, though, reptiles. Nearly all dinosaurs lived their entire lives on land, though some were also good swimmers, which I did not really know about. I didn't know some dinosaurs could swim.
Okay, so and just in case you wanted to know, now you know. Now here's another fact here. Dinosaurs were distinguished by their hips, okay? Here we've got the verb to distinguish, and we usually use this with the preposition by, to distinguish something by their particular characteristic. We could say that, hip-hop dancers are distinguished by their acrobatic moves when they dance, okay? They dance quite differently than standard ballet dancers, for example. They're distinguished by their dance moves. And in this particular case, the dinosaurs were unique because of their hips, which is basically the sides of your body where your legs start.
That's true. So, distinguished by, I also thought about another verb that we use sometimes. You can tell the difference between things by looking at certain characteristics. So, you can distinguish something by something, or tell the difference between two things by something by looking at something. Or, here's another verb, differentiate. You can differentiate Taiwanese desserts and American desserts by the amount of of sugar in the desserts. I think you could say that. So you can distinguish them by their hips. I had no idea. We separate dinosaurs into two groups. We've got lizard-hipped, Sauriskia.
Yep, that's what we went for.
And bird-hipped, Ornithiskia.
Sounds
Those
good.
are all crazy words. We know, guys. They're hard for us, too. So these are dinosaurs whose hips are more like lizards and a group of dinosaurs whose hips are more like birds, which is interesting.
Okay, so if you know about lizards, you'll know that they have unique hips. And if you know something about birds, you know that they have unique hips. Their hips are different, or at least the way their hips work is different. So ironically, today's birds descend from lizard-hipped dinosaurs. So yeah, indeed, if you look at the birds nowadays, a lot of people say, hey, they're descended from dinosaurs. They're actually modern dinosaurs because they're very similar to that particular type of dinosaur. Here we've got the verb phrase to descend from. A lot of people say that, human beings descend from apes. Okay, I'm not sure if that's exactly correct. I think they have a common ancestor, but I don't think you can say they descend from apes. Again, they have a common ancestor, but this is a common sentence that you hear.
You can also talk about people in your family that were born generations before you as your descendants. Or I descend from people who came from Ireland and England. And I think some folks were from Germany too, but mostly Ireland and England. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to look at that. We've got another list though, guys. See how we have the bullet points of the positives? Dinosaurs were these things. Now we're going to look at the opposite. Dinosaurs were not these things we're going to mention. The first one is dinosaurs were not all huge. You know, it's the first thing I think about when someone says a dinosaur. I think about an enormous animal, but they weren't all huge. Though enormous sauropods and the massive jaws of Tyrannosaurus rex are iconic to dinosaur lovers, there were many species or types of dinosaurs that were actually smaller than humans. You don't usually see these types, though. Some dinosaurs only grew to around the size of a turkey, which is not very big. Now, we've got one of our vocabulary words here, massive. Massive just means really, really big. So if you really want to emphasize how big something is, you're going to use this word massive. Sometimes we use it just to exaggerate. Maybe you have a big zit on your face, a dodo, and you say, it's massive. Everyone can see it. It's not really massive, but you can use that word just to kind of joke around at how you think something's way too big, bigger than it should be. So massive jaws. Yes, some of those jaws on those dinosaurs just look scary, like they could swallow a human being whole.
Indeed, they're quite huge. You could describe the earthquake that took place back in 1999 here in Taiwan as a massive earthquake.
Yeah.
It was really, really big. And, of course, there were massive tsunamis going off all the time because of earthquakes. You get the idea there. So, yeah, this particular type of dinosaur had huge jaws, and that dinosaur was Tyrannosaurus rex, sometimes shortened to T-Rex. That's the dinosaur that ate the lawyer in the first Jurassic Park
Jeff
movie.
Goldblum.
No, Jeff Goldblum must survive that. It was some other actor.
I thought he was the lawyer.
No, he was not. He was like the scientist or something like that. They can't kill Jeff Goldblum. He's pretty cool. But lawyers, yeah, you can kill them. It's okay. But in any case here, yes, T-Rex did have massive jaws. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Lawyers are people just like everybody else, just like your father.
That's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm sure they're used to having
lots of jokes about
them.
lawyers, yeah.
Indeed. But in any case here, yes, these particular types of dinosaurs are iconic to dinosaur lovers, which means basically when we think about dinosaurs, we think of these big ones. But, of course, as you said, there were many species that were smaller, including one that was about the size of a turkey. I wonder how it tasted at Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, I hope no one ate it. So dinosaurs were also, this is a second bullet point, dinosaurs were not slow and stupid. Yes, sometimes they are depicted or portrayed in our entertainment, either movies, TV shows, or even books, as being kind of slow and stupid. They can't go very fast. Popular culture, and that's the entertainment I was just talking about, shows dinosaurs as clumsy beasts. If you're clumsy, you're not very graceful or elegant. You might trip over your feet. You're not smooth and elegant like dancers. But they were clumsy beasts with only basic brain functions. But it turns out that that's not really true.
Yep, it says here, however, research has indicated, or it has found, that many dinosaurs actually had high levels of intelligence. They were actually pretty smart, and they also had high levels of social behavior, which means maybe they moved in groups, they moved in herds or something like that. At least that is according to research. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. Let's listen now to our Chinese teacher.
第二个下的定义呢，恐龙到底是什么？其实恐龙哦，它只有活在陆地上哦，它几乎就是完全生活在陆地。不过我们可以看一下，生活在陆地这个字叫做 land dwelling。所谓的 dwell D-W-E-L-L 可以指的是一群生物共同居住在哪里，其实就是 live 的意思啦。不过这个字呢，通常是一群生物共同的居住。那么前面这个副词要特别小心 exclusively 本来有排外的意思，那么在这里指的是 only 只有，它几乎就是只有生活在陆地上哦。虽然我们可能会把一些史前生物的海洋啊、空中的这些动物都把它认为是恐龙，好，误认为 A 是 B。在 though 这句话当中，请你把动词的 mistake 抓出来，误认 A 是 B， mistake A for B。 但是其实史前的一些海洋或空中的生物是爬行动物诶，爬行动物这个字还蛮常见的，所以我们要看一下叫做 reptile。 所以其实啊，几乎恐龙的一生 entire life 都是生活在陆地上。不过还要看一下第三点，恐龙到底怎么定义它是恐龙呢？到底有哪几种的呢？其实恐龙是透过臀部 hip 来 distinguish 来区分的，基本上分成两类， separate A into B， 把 A 分成 B， 或者是我们把恐龙分成 two groups， 分成两类。哪两类呢？也就是有蜥蜴臀部的蜥臀目，还有鸟类臀部的鸟臀目。好，接下来我们要看两个迷思哦。第一个迷思是恐龙不是全部都很大，虽然我们会觉得这个很大的这个暴龙啊，或者是犀角目下恐龙啊，这个 enormous massive 应该很具有代表性 iconic。 其实有一些恐龙居然比人类还要小，有一些恐龙居然只有火鸡那么大。那么第二个迷思呢，就是恐龙并不是都是很缓慢的，也有很笨的。因为 popular culture pop culture 现在啊，我们的流行文化都会把恐龙塑造成一种形象 show dinosaurs as 觉得他们是很笨拙的野兽 clumsy beasts。 但是其实研究已经显示恐龙有很高度的智力还有社会行为。我们看这边的研究显示可以用 indicate、point out 或者是 show 都可以。那么以上是我们今天的课程，可是明天我们还会介绍好多种不同的恐龙哦。我是安娜，我们下次见。
Okay, that's it for today, everybody. But please join us again next time because we are going to continue talking about dinosaurs. It is a fascinating subject for most people. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.